Okay, so this is CSC200 2D game programming, and we're going to be looking at adding a score onto the screen of our game. And in prior versions, we have kept up with the score and code. So this one is primarily just going to be how do I get it out of code and onto the screen. So let's take a look here, get project going. And here's all our different code that we have. And remember, one of the things that we have running around is the game manager. And we use the game manager for things that belong to the game and not to the individual pieces. So game manager would be a good place for this. So let me click on game manager and notice it shows up here, lives and score. And if I were to not maximize on play, well, let me actually do that. I'll turn maximize on play off so it stays small. I'm going to turn it, get it running, and I'll try my best to kill off the bad guys without getting killed. And as I shoot down a bad guy, notice the score here and the score here will match. So let me get this going again. Okay, it's thinking about it. Okay, there we go. All right, so let me find it.
Can you slow
Okay,
down your speed?
well, yeah, but I don't want to. I'm trying to get better at this. Okay. And y'all can see why I much prefer coding games than playing games. Okay. Uh, all right, one more time. Let me give this a try. I'll just run hide for this first one. Okay. All right. And then I'll sit here and try to shoot the guys down. Okay, so I've got two, and if you'll notice my score, my score up here is two, my score down here is two. Okay, now I'll just stop this. Okay, and notice it resets to zero when I stop it. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing with code. So again, this belongs with the game manager, not any of the players. So I'll pull up the manager's code. And again, I'll have to share screen after it gets up. And this time it's coming up a little bit quicker. There we go. I can share now. Okay. All right. So the reason that score and lives show up just in Unity over on the side when I click on Game Manager is because this code is tied to Game Manager and I have said public. And when I say public, then this is starting to show up there. Now, I have had to add in, and I'll point that out right now, that if you're going to put something on the screen, you're going to need a new uh, library that you pull in that you can make use of. So it's Unity Engine. Yes, we need that, but we also need Unity Engine.user interface. Okay. So there is public text, and the text is defined in this UI. So I'm just going to call it score field, and it's just a text field. Okay. Now then, this on the awake thing again is a singleton pattern for making sure there's only one manager code running. Notice I don't need anything in initialization. I haven't added in anything there. Okay. None of this stuff has changed. And so I'm going to come on down, and right here is where we make our next change. I'm going to say scorefield.text. Now, scorefield is of type text, but scorefield itself contains text, and that's what I'm talking about. And for every update, I'm going to replace what's in that field with score, the words, plus the score, and this changes it into what you see on the game. Now then, this isn't enough to pull it all off. So let me go up and show you what else comes along with this. Okay, so for the code, it's not that bad. Okay, I just say this is what I want in that text field, and you put that in there, and that puts it in there. How do you get it to display? That's done, but not in this code. So you add in a new library, you add in a new field of type text, and you add into your update that you want to set the text of that field to score plus score. Okay, so now let me share in Unity and we'll see where the rest of the pieces are. Okay, so what I wound up having to do was come over into the main scene and add a text field. And that wasn't hard to do. I just right click, and just like we were adding 3D objects before and all that, I come on down to user interface, and all I do is add in text. Okay. Now, when I add in text, that brings in a canvas to go with it. Okay. And the canvas is what the score text sits in, and the canvas exists between our playing field and the camera. So that means that we've kind of put a piece of plexiglass between the camera and our playing field. And on the plexiglass is where we're writing this. But when you look at it, it's just all on this one little place, but that's where that exists. So when you add in a canvas, well, let me see, where's score text? Okay, is it not gonna, oh, let me get in scene and try it again. Okay, score text. Okay, see that way up there? And I'm gonna keep, let me move this around so we can see it. Okay, so there it is. And that's where I've settled it. But the way I got it there, I had to go to Canvas, and right in here under Canvas itself, it shows up to start with screen space overlay. And when you do that and you say, hey, I want this, you will not see it on the screen because it is probably 3 parsecs over to the side somewhere. So I have to say, okay, no, Canvas, I want your space to be what the camera is seeing. And then this will be empty, and you have to tell it which camera, because you can have more than one camera in a game, and just come over here and click and drag main camera into this spot, and it'll let you drop it in right there. And once that happens, then there's no telling exactly where score will wind up in here. Okay, so let me take score text and show you over here. Okay, here we go. All right, this little area right here is going to be worth a lot to you. Okay, now let me go back into my, what was it, my main camera? No, that's not it. Let me try this. Okay, now let me just scroll back out just so I can see stuff on the screen. Okay, now, by the way, that's my sound. We talked about that in the earlier when we were working sounds. But I want to move things, and what I wish to move is score text. And so no matter where it is, like if I wanted it to always be down here, I could move it down to this spot. Now, the problem with this is when the screen size changes, this will not change relative to the screen size. It will stay in this physical location. So you're putting it on a machine, and the screen that it's running on is actually as big as this grayed out area. Well, everything else will have moved appropriately except this, and it will be in the way. That is not an acceptable thing. So after you get the score settled into the screen, you come up to this little guy and say, okay, at this point, I would like you to stay in the lower right-hand corner relative to any screen. And so wherever that corner is now on any screen, the score will stay right by that corner. And so that's how you get that to happen. All right, so things to warn you about when you first put the score, or it'll just say text here, I changed its name. When you first put that up here, you insert it, you go right click and user interface and pick text, and you click on it, and this will show up, and this will say text, and you can't see it anywhere, and it is way the heck off. Let me try putting in another text, see if I can put that in and take that out. Okay, in this case, it's in the same canvas. The canvas has already been oriented to the camera, and there that new text comes in, and you can take and move it around to wherever you want it relative on the screen. And I'm going to put mine over here and up, and then go through. Right now it's set dead center, which is why it showed up right in the middle, and it's hard to see, but that little flower thing is right there. And I want it to be in the upper right corner. So I will go click this one, and it moves the little, okay, that's what this one is tied to. This one is tied to that. So no matter how big the screen is, that's where you'll find them. Okay, so I just added that in. I'll just go ahead and take it back out. Okay, so we've got that. We've got the score showing there, and we did that by adding all of this. And let's see, let me go through these one at a time. Game manager. Okay, and it will want to know, because I declared a score field as public, that will now show up here. And it wants to know what text field do I tie to score field? Well, that was this one. And all I did was just click and drag it over and drop it. Now you're also being asked to add in that the player has 3 lives. And I've already got the variable there in the code, we just never used it. So you're going to want to add another text field, call it lives.text, and do the coding behind the scenes that will keep up with how many times the player has been hit. And notice on mine, I don't, on purpose, I do not have that in what I'm showing you, because that leaves you then something, okay, I've already got, well, I did. I've already got score text in here for you, and you can look at it, and I've got the code for that in Manager, and that'll give you some kind of clue as to how to keep up with the number of lives. And the player doesn't die until the 3rd bomb strikes. Okay, back to what it looks like in the game. Got score down here, and I took out the other one. And I don't care where you put them, depending upon how you've got your little guys going and everything like that. Position it just someplace that makes sense. You can change the color of this stuff, like right here for score. Okay, and remember, we're getting enough stuff over here on the side now. You may need to scroll up and down to see what's going on. But anyway, for a score, I could change that color. Let me go with the dark red, and notice it changes immediately. So you can request whatever color you want on that. I would suggest you get something that shows up pretty well, as opposed to something like that. Okay, that's just that's a little too hard to read. So just pick something that is clear and easy to see on this. All right, that's all I've got to show you on that. So I will stop the recording now.